The next topic Malbeth want to talk about is the food. Again, when it comes to the food, they are ready to eat anything. We had a last ingenious one kid who did not eat even banana or buttermilk. Buttermilk is, we take the yogurt and put water and mix it. So there was one kid who won't even touch buttermilk or banana or anything, for example. Oh, this is sticky, that is yellow color, this is all kind of things. So the mom said, no, he doesn't like this, and she kept on telling a big list. So all I did was sit with him and talk to him every day about something else and ate. He saw me eating banana, he saw me eating all kind of things. He was so confused. I was not telling him this is good, that is good. I didn't talk about food at all. By end of 21 days, he ate everything. He's about 8 years old and he'll never eat anything. But end of 21 days, he didn't have any problem with food. Why I'm saying this is because we are the people who says this, oh, you like this banana, you like this chiku, you like this passion fruit. We give ideas to them. They don't have an idea. Whether it is banana or chocolate milk, they don't have an idea. It's not that kids love sweet. Kids love even bitter. Kids love everything. Their taste bud, especially the beginning here, is sweet. So they tend to eat sweet, so they start liking it. But the whole thing is, we don't have anything called spice taste bud. We have sweet, sour, bitter, right? All the taste bud is there, but we don't have anything called spice taste bud. But we all love spices. Why? Because that is an idea given to us. So the taste itself is a lie. There is no such thing as we love something, we don't like something. If the parents eat everything and they don't bother to talk about all these things, the children automatically eat everything. They don't have any problem with food. But parents are choosy and they see this. And then they see, oh, this is so nice. I like this. Daddy likes this dosa very much. He loves dosa. The days mom makes dosa, he loves it. Then comes the idea of food. Oh, this is what we should like. This is what is called good taste. They start living. If you see, the best example I'm going to say is when a small child goes near the bathroom and it's very smelly, they won't even realize, they won't even complain. But the minute we know about like 10 feet, 20 feet away, we'll say, oh my God, this is so smelly, I can't stand this place, oh, I can't go there. But a child doesn't even know, happily he'll walk. They don't have an idea about smell, taste, anything. Their five senses is only learning. But they learn and then they start responding, oh, this is not a good smell, this is a bad smell, this is how it tastes. Oh, this is what I like and this is what I don't like. They start becoming picky. They start taking life and judging life. That's when it starts. A 1-year-old will never know what it is. They will eat anything. They will do anything, anywhere. So they are in absolute cognition, right? We are in judgmental. So we have an idea. So when you are feeding your child, do not tell them what they like and they don't like. Let them have the food what they are having. Food is something for our body, not for the tongue. It's not for, if we are specific to the tongue, then they are going to be very specific to the tongue. Swami says actually the hunger starts in the throat. So he says when you quench the throat itself, the hunger leaves us. So it's completely our cognition about hunger, food, everything is completely different. We think we have to fill the stomach to the brim and then only we are satisfied. We actually don't fill the stomach. We can't eat more, so we stop at one point because we'll throw up. The stomach gets full, but our tongue still wants it. I want more, I want more. But stomach doesn't have place, so we stop. But for a child, it's not like that. Not even an ounce of milk you can give a newborn baby, more or less. By nature, they know how much to eat, how much to take care. Completely, they know what is best for them and how much to eat. See, they are very intelligent. They are much more intelligent. If a baby can decide, why can't a 2-year-old or a 5-year-old or a 7-year-old decide what is best for them? If you start deciding what is best for them, they know very well, my mom will take care. Why should I be responsible? The first irresponsible thing we teach is through food. 10 months they should start eating on their own, and they should be starting to take responsibility for themselves. First responsibility in life they learn is how to take care of themselves. Even the dogs, cats, everything go hunting for them. The first thing the parent animal teaches the child animal is about how to go and get food. But we don't do that. We just stuff everything in their mouth and give them on the plate and say, here, eat. No, life is not that. They need to understand how important food is and how it helps our body and what is to take care of our health. It's very important. If they know that, they are going to be amazing in their health and fitness. If we are going to feed them, then comes the problem. The obesity problem, the allergy problem, all kinds of new theories and new problems starts up because we start supporting. It's like artificially having a heart lung machine outside us. Will we do that? No. We will be very much wanting them to start functioning how they are. A child understands all this. All we need to do is we start eating good food and enjoying fresh food. They will start eating fresh food. As simple as that. Whether it's a pregnant woman or a mother of a teen, if we start eating good food and keep on repeating how we love the good sattvic food, no, not dead food, the fresh vegetable, fresh fruits and all that, they are going to go for that. Instead of going for some French fries, they will ask, Mama, can I get a banana instead? So they are going to go for what we live for. If we tell, wow, French fries today, special treat for you, obviously the whole banana and fresh fruit is lost. They think if you start giving them a treat, they know very well, then pizza, French fries, burger, these are the lifestyle. If you are very clear that food is for taking care of the body, not for anything else, no, then they will be very careful what they eat for their life. For their life, they will be eating the best food, what they want. Instead of going by the taste, adding extra salt, extra cheese, so that my son will not get them any better. You are not teaching them anything good by adding this, adding that. They will be more happy if you eat fresh food and they see that every day you enjoying food. They will also go by that. Lots of juice, lots of milk, everything fresh they can take, they will be happy. They have no idea about anything. So let's not create a space where they think this is good, this is bad. The only thing I want to say is how we eat matters. Then they will not be a picky eater, and don't feed them. If they go, Swami has beautifully said, Monday, the children also can take off and not eat till the whole day, and at the end of the day they can eat. The system manages. Our system is much more fit. If it needs, it will come running and it will be able to take something for the body. So let's give the intelligence to the children's body also and not force feed them. Force feed them is not going to serve. We had a child, he's from Malaysia. His name is Prince, and he has been taking only milk. He is about now 7 to 8 years. He has only taken milk in his life, nothing else. By birth, he is like that. When he came here for engineers, he was about like 4 to 5 years and he took only milk. The mother came for engineers just to make him eat. We tried all the things possible, but he was very clear. He wants to only have milk and he's saying, I'm perfectly fine. And they did all the tests and he's perfectly fine. His growth is very good. His body function is very good. And he says, he is complete about it. He says, I'm perfectly fine. Why are you asking me to eat? Then we said, okay, probably he's a born Nirahari. He can be that way. Yes, not every child is going to be like that. But I'm just giving the extreme cases where they are able to be in complete space just drinking milk. So it's all the space that matters, not what the food they eat. See, scientifically we can say this is nutritious, this is good for you, this is bad for you. But ultimately, if somebody is complete about food, where they exist, nothing matters. Nothing matters. They are complete about food, taking care of their body. So even if they eat one piece of bread in the morning and one piece of bread in the evening, they're going to be completely fine. So let's not like, no, this is good, you don't need this, so how can you be without it? Don't create conditions. Conditions in their brain actually puts them off. Oh, this is good food, that is good, bad food. No, even the other food, French fries, you don't have to stop them from liking it. I would say any food they like, get them, let them experience that. Don't stop them, especially food, don't restrict them. No, they should have, if they like French fries, let them have enough and more French fries for one whole month. Then easily they'll drop the French fries. Don't tell them, no, I will get you French fries only when you go out. There is a lot of parents who say, when you go out, you can eat junk food. No, if you give an option, junk food is okay in any form, they're going to think junk food is also good. So, if they like something, let them eat to the full. Whether it is chocolate, whether it is French fries and all that, let them eat full. After some time, they themselves will start hating it. The sight of French fries will not even tempt them. I'm just giving an example as French fries. It can be anything. If you think they love that, get them enough and more of it. They know exactly food is not going to make me happy. Let them come to a conclusion. Food is not something which gives you satisfaction. Your idea of food is what gives you complete. The idea. And then there is no such thing as this is good, that is bad in their space. Only we give an idea, this is French fries, it is oily, don't eat it. Don't have to create a negative cognition. Then comes the obesity. If they eat even one packet of French fries, they're going to really become huge. They're going to have an idea which becomes reality for them future. So don't give them negative attachment. This negative attachment is what we implant in them a lot. If we see our conversation, the don'ts that we keep on telling the children is the negative attachment we planted. More like a little seed we put in them. And then we don't know which one becomes a tree. After that we suffer. Oh, if I do this, no, it becomes a difficult thing for me. There's nothing, it's all in our mind. We just drop it like, drop a hat, we can drop any cognition. And children can do it so beautifully. So don't implant anything. This is good. Oh my God, you're eating so much French fries. What will happen to your stomach? Nothing will happen to the stomach. A few times he'll vomit. So what? Clean the stomach. Swami says once a while if you vomit, it's good for you. So let them clean it and start again. It's not bad. You don't have to force them that don't eat it and this will happen. You will get obese, you will get huge. And this is nutritious. Why are you not eating these things every day? I'm cooking specially for you, but you are not touching any of that. You are sitting and eating only the same things. So all this, don't force the child. Whatever they like, let them be complete with that. Let them eat. If they want to eat for 10 years the same thing, let them eat. They will just get bored of it. They will have an idea. Food is just for the body, to take care of the body. It is nothing to do, attachment to the food is a problem. Don't give them any attachment to the food. Then comes the obesity, then comes the health issues. Most of the health issues are connected to the food, what we take. Because when we are eating, those days it used to be so beautiful. There will be so many kids, the mother can't sit and take care of each and every kid. So what they will do, they give the whole pot of food to the grandmother. So grandmother will make balls and tell stories of great saints. So grandmother is going to give each one ball, and then she's going to talk about great saints. Swami has beautifully said 3 times we are very much with ourselves. When we are eating, when we are taking bath, and when we are going to sleep or waking up. That going to sleep part, we are very much with ourselves. We don't have the world there. We are there with us. It's like a meditative space. So when we are eating, what we are listening is very important. That's why it's very important what we are listening when we are eating. So when the grandmothers sit and talk about different temples, different deities and different stories of different saints and give them food, the child is going to have the inspiration towards those things, not up to the food. They mix everything in one pot and then they make balls and they just give the kids. So food as such is not the higher priority. They have higher priority of what stories she's going to say. How did this person live? How did that person live? No, those kind of things. That's why it's very important you sit as a family and you talk about some great things, not about problems in the family. Sitting together and eating is not talking about your family problems. It's about great things that Swami has spoken today, great saints and the possibility they are. So when we talk about the possibility and feed the child, they are going to expand in that. They are going to think, wow, what a life this person had. And that is what is going in with the food. Because they are very much with their senses, right? Very rarely we are sitting with our senses. And by eating or drinking, we are very much with our senses. Those times, what thoughts we are enriching, those are the thoughts which are going to be who we are. So especially eating, it's in the highest beat. Because we are enjoying the color, taste, texture, everything. Let them eat with their both hands. Let them feel the food. Let them enjoy the food. Let them little do mess up. It's perfectly fine. It can't be a clean plate that no, they don't spill. They have to be very clear about the whole thing. The whole thing is about how they enjoy the whole thing and in completion, and also what message they receive. So if we going to feed like this, they're going to look out for the time that we are going to spend with them, not the food. They are not waiting for you to make a special dish today. They are waiting for your time, your space, and that is where the bonding happens. That's why when we have marriages, any function, any family, first thing is we think of food. Oh, we have called somebody to our home. What is that we can provide for them? The first thought comes about food, right? So food is where we connect to people. But food is not the only thing. It's like calling people and talking about weather. That means there is a very high hypocrisy level that we don't have anything to share and we don't want anything to share. Oh, the weather is good. How is the weather? Oh, what do you think about this? This is not a conversation. First time you see somebody, the child will never ask this question. Only the adult conversation goes on here. So the child will more be interested to play. Know what is there and then start playing with the other kid. They are right out there. Same thing with food. Don't try to give them, bring them for food. Bring them together for a purpose, for a context. Know what they are. So when kids continuously see that food is not the highest priority in life, they will also not get attached to these food patterns. Food patterns, when we get attached, then comes very difficult problems.